Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Trina, and in today's video I am going to be doing my TBR for the month of June. And it's kind of exciting for me actually to do my TBR this time because we are going to do a little bit of a prompt jar. So I have seen a lot of videos when it comes to doing prompt jars, and it's kind of a fun challenge, I guess, for me to do something about connecting prompt to a particular book that I would probably read in my TBR. So I prepared a bunch of pieces of paper last night actually, and just place it in this, like, it's dirty because it's like reused container of like a snack. So we're going to do that with my prompt jar as of the moment. I do have my reading journal here to the side, just so you can see something while I do this. But basically I'm just going to use this for like listing stuff. Although I don't think I'm going to set up my pages for the month of June just yet, because as I'm filming this, it's just the middle of May, and I think I have like 3 or 4 books that I'm still in the middle of that I might end up finishing before June hits. So I guess we're going to leave the reading journal to the side for now. So anyway, what I want to do first before we pick out our prompts in here, I would like to roll 2 d6s, 2 6-sided dice, to see how many like prompts that I would like to pull from the jar before we begin. Because at first I was like, I wanted to pull out like probably 7 or 8 prompts to this. However, I could do more because usually I average to around 10 or so books in a month recently. So I would like to see if like if I hit like 6 or 8 or more than that. So instead of using a d20, a 20-sided die, that would reach up to 20. I don't think I could be able to finish 20 books in June, so I decided on 2 d6s, so that our minimum is 2, our maximum is 12 prompts for today. So yeah, if ever I'm going to get like under 5, I might just re-roll, to be really honest, because 5 prompts is kind of a bit little. And I'm also going to use my Goodreads list this time, because most of like the books that I am wanting to read, or like the majority of books that I own a copy of, are in digital or audio format. I only have a little book pile that are physical. So either way, I don't need to like have, I don't have a TBR card to pull out or something. So I'm just going to put the images of the book covers on screen as I talk about it or as I pick for that specific prompt. So we're going to roll how many prompts we're going to pick out first. 7. So okay, we're going to do 7 prompts for this video, which is like almost perfect to have like a couple of books that I would want to read for the month of June, while allowing myself a little bit of wiggle room if ever I don't want to pick out anything from that stack as of the moment. So we have our prompts here. So we're going to pick out 7 from this. And here is our first one. Really. So our first is a classic retelling, which I already have an idea of what I am going to read for this. Let me open my Goodreads for the moment to give you like who the author is. So I don't know if this counts as a retelling, but it's some sort of like a reimagining. So the first book that I'm choosing for June's TBR is Pride and Premeditation by Terzan Price. It is a murder mystery series, the Jane Austen murder mystery series it's called. And it's basically all of like Jane Austen books, but told in a way of it being a murder mystery basically. And for our story here, we have Elizabeth Bennet, of course, and Mr. Darcy, but they are more of like in like a law scenario wherein Elizabeth Bennet is trying to like solve a murder and prove to Mr. Darcy that women are capable of doing a man's job as well. So it's almost similar to like, I did listen to the audiobook of Pride and Prejudice like a month ago, so that is like April. So in a way, I'm quite intrigued about this book. So that is our first one for the day. Now we're going to pick out our next book. Need to do with this one. A standalone. So it is a book that has no sequels, prequels, or anything of that sort. And I think I have a little bit of like a choice for this. Like there's a lot of choices that I would like to pull out from this. So what I picked out for this prompt is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I always wanted to try a Brandon Sanderson book but haven't gotten around to it. So I think this one, it's pretty popular, and it's also, as they say, a good way to ease into the writing style and the mind of Brandon Sanderson when it comes to his fantasy stories. So I think the story is that Tress is like going on this journey, leaving the comforts of her home sort of situation. So I am excited to read that. Next prompt. Oh dear, something spelled out, but we're not going to choose that. We're going to choose this one. Putting that back. Alternating points of view. So there are a lot of fantasy, I believe, with alternating points of view. I'll hold on, I'll be right back and look for something of that situation. So I'm scrolling through this list of books in Goodreads that have multiple character POV. That is basically what alternating POV is for me. At first, I was thinking, why not just continue with the series of Shades of Magic by V. Schwab, because I have books 2 and 3 of it. I haven't finished book 2 yet, so I can't really add it to my TBR for the month of June because I'm still reading it for the month of May, and thinking about it, I might end up finishing it. So I decided to just Google all of the multiple character POV sort of book and scroll to see whichever is part of my TBR shelf in Goodreads. And then I came across Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Lisa Jewell's another like author that I wanted to try out, and this is about like a mother who has her daughter has disappeared, and after a few years, when she was like introduced to another girl, or a guy introduced his daughter to her and looks or feels like her daughter. And yeah, so I don't know. I will put that on the list as of the moment. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, and if it fits with the character POV alternating, then that is the one that we choose for this prompt. Next prompt, we have this one. You watch the movie or show first. So I don't really look or like watch that much movies or TV shows, and right off the bat, from like in my mind, I only can name 2. Well, maybe except Harry Potter, but nah, I don't feel like reading or watching Harry Potter anymore. But there are 2 titles that, or maybe 3, no 2. So I have 2 titles right off the bat in my brain of which one I am going to read for this prompt. The first one being The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. It is the prequel to The Hunger Games, the story of President Snow. I have watched the movie with my brother and quite enjoyed it a bit. It was okay, but I still would want to read the book. And the other one of the choices that I have is, of course, the very much popular Game of Thrones. And out of the 2 books that I have, I would probably lean more into the YA. That is only 1 book. So our choice for this prompt is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It would be an interesting read though, because there's always this case whenever we watch a movie or a series and compare it to the book. We tend to like see whether or not they did it by the letter of the book or did they change something. Like, that is always an interesting thing to look forward to once you have both the movie version and the book version. Anyway, our next prompt number 5. So we only have 3 more to go, 2 more after this. So it is authored, focus, hello, there. It is authored by more than 2 authors. So I have to search for this first because I don't have anything right off the bat. Okay, so I made my choice. It is The Lying Room by Nikki French. Nikki French is actually 2 authors, Nikki Gerard and Sean French. They are both a married couple that does separate books, author separate books, but also like author a book together. So this book, I think, is like a domestic thriller, sort of murder mystery, and it's something. I don't see any other book that I would want to read as of the moment that has more than 2 authors that is not an anthology. So we'll settle for this one, and it's still a detective story. It's still part of like my interest when it comes to like books. So we're going to do that. Here is our 6th prompt. A book with dragons. Are we going to pick Game of Thrones yet or not? What else? Does like, oh, I do have 1 book that I want to read that has dragons on it, but I forgot the title. Like, it's a high fantasy book. Oh my God, Wait, I'm going to search for it. Okay, here we are. I found my screenshot of it. The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. It is book 1 of the Bloodsworn saga. So we're going to start another series. That means this is another ongoing series that I'm going to read. And this is, as I read the synopsis, it's just Norse mythology. I don't know. Like, after God's war, the dragon's house extinction, and then falls shadow, now new worlds rising, so it's a war book. All three will share the fate of the world as once more falls under the shadow of the gods. Yeah, it's high fantasy. It has a dragon on the cover. It's Norse mythology, so yes, dragons. So yeah, we're going to read that. I'm quite excited because this book has received quite some hype, as like in my page, or like the one that comes out when I scroll through Facebook and Instagram. So I'm going to read that for that prompt with dragons, because I can't really choose Fourth Wing and Iron Flame because I finished that. I don't want to start what do you call this? I don't want to start Game of Thrones just yet. What else are there with dragons on it? Aragon? I don't think I would like to reread Aragon again. So anyway, this is the last one, last prompt for today's video and for the month of June. Hope it's a good one. We have gothic horror. Oh god. Yay! Which is like one of my favorite genres, actually. Gothic horror is one of my favorite of all time. So this might be hard to pick. So let's see what options we have. So I have a choice between Mexican Gothic and The Hacienda. And I decided to choose the second one, The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. And I think it is about like this girl who, her father was executed during the Mexican War, something. And The Hacienda is being haunted, I guess. And I don't know anything else other than that. But I have seen and heard a bunch of reviews about this book. It has been 2 years since this book was published, and I've always been seeing it like on Instagram and like just on the shelves, and I have always been interested in it because it gives me that feeling of like Leech by Kieran Innes, which is like my favorite, my number one gothic horror book that I have read, that started back up my love for reading. Like that is like the first book, I guess, that I gave 5 stars to last year, that just started my reading interest again. So that is my 7 picks for June's TBR. Rolling it back, we have a classic retelling, Pride and Premeditation, a standalone, Being Tress of the Emerald Sea, alternating or multiple POVs, Then She Was Gone. Book I watched the movie or show first, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. More than 2 authors, The Line Room, Books with Dragons, The Shadow of the Gods, and Gothic Horror, The Hacienda. So that is it. Just a short video for us today, and I hope you enjoy. I am very much excited to start reading any of these 7 books because they have been in my TBR. I just not have like the motivation yet to pick them up until today. So yeah, thank you so much again, and I will see you in the next video. So until then guys, take care and bye!